on, everybody out there? It's Popular Stranger, and we are back again today with another Madden 16 video, and this is going to be the first of many Madden 16 tip videos where we go over mini schemes for multiple playbooks. I've had a chance to use a lot of different playbooks because of Draft Champions this year, and I've been finding a lot of plays that work for me, and I thought that I'd start to share them with you. So we're going to start this out by doing a formation out of the Eagles, the Philadelphia Eagles Offensive Playbook, and it's called Trey Open Offset. And there's about 4 to 5 plays that we can run out of this formation that have been pretty effective to me. So we're going to start this off very basic. Not going to get into it in depth, but the inside zone is probably the best running play out of this formation. So we're just going to quickly run it a couple times. It's a standard inside zone. You just want to take it into the inside if the hole is there, and if your blockers don't really create a hole for you in the middle, then you just want to kind of bounce it to the outside and find those gaps within the offensive line that they do create. And again, this is very basic, but with any schemes that I teach you guys over the next couple months, you want to make sure that you do have a nice 1 or 2 running plays mixed in there. So again, I just wanted to, show that to you as a very basic run that you want to mix in your scheme. And as far as I know, I believe it is one of the audibles, one of the hot audibles when you run in here. So yes, if you hit square and then triangle for inside zone, you can switch to this if you do come out into one of the pass plays that we're about to start running. So one thing that you want to take a look at with this formation is the different packages, and the interesting thing about this one is that it does give you an option for 4 wide receivers. Now, on your screen, the number 15 receiver is primarily the route that we're going to be attacking on the first play. So you might want to take your tight end out and go to the 4 wide receiver set. That's going to give you just a better receiving option overall. And the first play we're going to go to is called Y corner, and it's the X play down at the bottom. Now, I'm going to run this exclusively against cover 3. It's a defense that you're going to see a ton of against online, and this is definitely the best way to beat cover 3 with this play. So the first thing you're going to do is take T.Y. Hilton, who is your circle receiver, and you're going to put him on a streak. The second thing you're going to do is take Dante Moncrief, who is your R1 receiver, and you're going to put him on a zig route to the outside. And primarily, we're going to be looking for Dorsett. Again, with the 4 wide receiver package that we're using, that normally would be a tight end. A wide receiver is probably going to give you a little better of a receiving option unless you have like Rob Gronkowski or Jimmy Graham, one of those really good receiving tight ends. And basically, your read is going to be looking at R1. Once he starts to make his break outside, it's going to suck the defense down. T.Y. Hilton should clear the cornerback number 1 and leave you a nice gap of space along the right side part of the sideline. And one other thing you want to make sure you do is possession catch this, because you kind of run out of room along that sideline. You certainly want to use the long side of the field when you try to run this play. If you do it from the middle or the short side, it usually won't work out. And again, you want to make sure that you use possession catch, which is X on the PlayStation 4, to keep yourself inbounds and make sure that you do get the yardage on that play. Now, this thing is really good also against cover 4 defense. It has the same type of effect, and if you need to buy yourself some time, you might be able to block your halfback, but we're going to talk about why you shouldn't do that all the time coming up here in a moment. So we'll run it once more. Again, even with cover 4, it's going to suck down that defense, and sometimes you might have to float the pass like I did right there to get it over that defender's head. We'll run it one last time. But against cover 4, it will have the same impact as far as sucking down the zone. And then once it clears out, again, possession catch. That time I think I landed out of bounds, but that play is money. So the one thing that can really disrupt it is man press coverage, and we're going to show you what to do against man press coverage, because it just messes up the timing of it as we run it one last time there on cover 3. So if your opponent stops playing zone and starts playing man coverage and pressing your receivers against this play, it's going to mess up the timing, and T.Y. Hilton usually will get bumped, and then it's all cluttered on that right side part of the field where Dorsett, where you're trying to get open at. So once you run into that issue, you can still kind of look into it. We're going against man coverage, but if I see that it's cluttered over there, this triangle, which is our halfback, and I took Frank Gore out because he has terrible route running. You might want to get yourself a better route running halfback, one that's good in passing like LaShawn McCoy or Reggie Bush or somebody like that. But normally he's going to beat man coverage. I'm not going to say all the time, and really it depends on the matchup. If they have a super good linebacker in coverage, or possibly if they're using their linebacker, you want to be careful. But for the most part, this route is going to beat man. It does take a little while to develop. As you see there, it was a little closer. But again, if you get somebody like Reggie Bush, Jamal Charles, LaShawn McCoy, they're going to win that battle. LaDainian Tomlinson is another one. But you see, this route will beat man as well, but it's so cluttered over there because of the press coverage. It just kind of gets mixed up. So that's why I like to go to this halfback route if I see that my opponent starts to make an adjustment and stop playing zone against that play. Again, got lucky there, but lucky enough to come away with the pass. Strong curl is the next play that we're going to run, and for the most part this is good against all types of defenses, but it's most effective against zones. We're going to go against some random defense just to see what type of options we get, and really the only thing I like to do is motion out my halfback to the wide receiver type position. He's going to suck down the defense, and we want to look for Andre Johnson making his break on that kind of inside post, and there's a small window right there. You have to be very precise with your passes, but usually you're able to fit it in there. Please go to practice mode before you try this and make sure you get familiar with the timing. But again, that halfback is going to kind of suck the zone in, and as he does, you can find a nice little pocket. Bad pass there by Andrew Luck, but Andre Johnson was wide open. But you can normally find a nice little pocket in the zone where you can dump that ball off to a receiver, and a lot of times you can get kind of good rack catches and get some extra yardage after the throw. Now I haven't even really looked to the right side of the field on these throws. Normally another thing that you can do is streak T.Y. Hilton just to kind of clear out that side of the field in case they leave Moncrief open in the flats. You just have like an extra security blanket there. Again, nice timing. Andre Johnson dropped the pass, but there's pretty much always an opening on that route no matter what defense I find I go against, and work on your timing and you'll be able to take advantage of it as well, right when he makes his break inside, if he could just catch the ball. So before we run the last play of this mini scheme, I want to go over some other plays out of this formation that you might want to run that we just won't go to in detail. The first one is FL Dig. It has some nice routes coming out of the backfield from the halfback. You just want to be careful. If your opponent's playing a cover 2 zone, then there's going to be somebody sitting there once he makes his break, but it's usually very good against linebackers and man coverage. And then also trail shake, probably one of the favorites in the community that people love to run against man coverage, where you have one guy running on a low pattern and then one following right behind. Kills man coverage. Certainly check it out. And then you have your 2 deep options to go to the outside in case maybe they bring up their safeties. So the last play we're going to run is MTN Z Spot. This one has an auto motion, so it does kind of give away the play. There's also an inside cross and a halfback swing that you can run in conjunction with this play, but we're just going to run the Z Spot, and we're going to run it against random defense. This is really good against man coverage and zone coverage. Again, you just want to be wary of the press. So right now it doesn't look like we're going to be pressed. We're going to do the same thing we've been doing most of this video. We're going to streak circle our T.Y. Hilton receiver, and our halfback is going to go into a motion and kind of sit in that area by the 40-yard line, and he's like our last option or our safe route basically. But you want to hope that the defense kind of goes our magnets towards him and sucks the defense down. And again, we're looking for Moncrief, which is R1. You want to make sure that you use the possession catch because you have a little bit of room on that sideline, and you want to make sure that you're able to catch the ball, stay in bounds, and get the yards. And now we're running against random defenses, so that one they left him wide open. This one looks like it's going to be a little bit of a press coverage, so it's going to mess up that timing, and that kind of takes away our main option. So what we want to do in this situation is just dump it off to our halfback. Make sure you use the rack catch because you want to catch it and start running up the field immediately after the catch. We'll run it again and see what we get. Doesn't look like there's any press coverage this time, so we're going to be able to find Moncrief. That area in the field that we've been attacking for most of this video was wide open, and this play is great, man. Again, you just want to make sure that you use the the possession catch. I don't know if I said rack on the last play. Now that time you saw it was a zone, and the computer kind of played both triangle and R1, so you want to wait for him to cheat down towards the halfback before you make that throw. You do have to have a little bit of patience. As you see, he kind of stops and then leaves your receiver wide open. But I love this play. You guys are about to see a bunch of different examples of me running it in online head-to-head games. Just so you know, it's not some practice mode fluke play that I use. It really does work in games, and we'll take a look at some of the other plays that we went over in practice mode and just see how they work out in a real environment. So we'll run it one last time. Again, he kind of presses, and then he just leaves the man right there. Good against zone, good against man, good against everything. So now let's check out some real life examples. This is footage in head-to-head games. This is not practice mode. We'll open up with the strong curl, work on your timing in practice mode, but the square receiver is always open right there. We'll next move over to the Y corner play. Again, make your reads, be patient in the pocket, wait for that zig route to bring down the defenders, and you'll usually have your X receiver wide open. Just remember to use the possession catch. The last example, here in the red zone, it's absolute money. We're going to get 6 on the same exact play. And then last, we'll take a look at the Z spot, my favorite play, the last one that we went over in the practice mode examples. You got to be patient in the pocket. You got to make your reads. They go towards the triangle or the halfback, and once they do that, it leaves the R1 receiver wide open. Nothing but green in front of him there. We'll run it once more. Amari Cooper wide open. Now, if you get to the red zone and they start favoring towards the wide receivers, you can adjust and make that halfback swing pass, as you see right there. And then pretty much the same spot on the field. This time we will go to the wide receiver. Be patient. Make your good reads, and I promise you this play will work. And then if they start levitating towards that left side of the field, you can always counter them by finding your tight end. Look at this, back of the end zone touchdown.